How's it going?
How are we?
That's good. So,
Good.
everybody, you have the camera mostly dedicated to Nick's beautiful face, just because we don't have enough room to get both of us.
I forgot you were there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. I'm just over here to the side, okay?
Over here to the side.
Exactly. So, this is super cool. I think you might be my first on-air guest, so that's good.
Very exciting. Honored, to be
Exactly.
honest.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. So, Nick is actually a fellow PT. I met him at Fitness First Melbourne Central. I think they were doing some sort of PT development.
Development, getting our skills up before we got into the industry.
Exactly. And that was like months ago, eh?
A long time ago,
Yeah,
yes.
long
Long
ago.
time. It's been
Yeah.
a long time since we've caught up, actually.
Exactly. So we don't really see each other often. So it's good to catch up. And since I'm so new to PT, because I'm mostly optometrist, like a lot of you guys know, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to maybe get some tips, see how Nick's journey has been in the PT world so far.
Absolutely.
And we'll just see who Nick is. Introduce you guys to this guy.
Yes.
All right, cool. So since these guys don't know you at all, how about you give us a brief rundown of who you think you are?
Yes, 100% who I think I am. So my name is Nick. I've been in the industry for probably about, we'll say, 2.5 years now. So been in the fitness industry for this time. It's a big part of what I do. So it's a big part of who I am is being in this industry. A big part of my day is spent working on this with my clients and at work. So that's a big part of what I do is this industry, and it's something that I love. That's very close to me. Yes.
That's really cool. That's awesome. When did you start being because when we met each other, I was still a student. I was finishing up my stuff. But you, I think you were already a PT.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I was a new trainer at the time. So a few months ago, that was when I was sort of almost starting out as a PT, when we're in that development space, pursuing that development together, learning.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how many months do you have officially under the belt as a new PT?
Yes, absolutely. So as a new PT, I started PT in January, late January. So at this stage, I have around about 8 months under the belt. So that's when I first started training clients at Fitness First. Prior to that, that was when I was obviously doing that development. I've been in that space of that new PT development space a little bit longer than this, but that's when I first sort of took on my first clients, was around the start of the year, end of January.
Beautiful. So you're going through a lot of stuff I'm going through now, right? Calling through the missing in action list. Missing in action list, for you guys that don't know, it's essentially people that sign up for the gym. Yeah, well, a lot of you guys are probably out there. You sign up for the gym, then you kind of don't show up and you're missing in action, quote unquote, for like a month or so, whatever. We give you a call and you're like, hey, what's going on? Can we help? Blah, blah, blah.
Yes, definitely been there, the MIA list.
Yeah.
100%.
So excitingly for me, I have my first MIA list person tomorrow that I'm going to do for like a Jumpstart one.
Oh, very exciting. Sorry, just a bit of a backtrack. When did you start PT? Because obviously the last time I spoke to you, that was before your journey had started. That was before you were taking clients. So whenabouts did you start your journey? When did you start that?
So I officially signed up to be a PT, signed up to train as a PT in, December 2020. So
2020, wow.
Yeah, it was a long time. But
Wow.
in the middle, I was traveling a lot for work, fly out work, optometry stuff. And I was stuck in, I think Perth. I was like, oh, damn, I'm not really working out. Maybe I'll just overshoot and compensate and try to be a PT.
Yes.
So I signed up for the AIPT
100%.
thing.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so you were living in Perth at the time.
So as a fly out optom, I travel a lot. So
Okay.
I do a lot of interstate work, or did a lot before I was kind of moving the business back locally to Melbourne. This was always my home base, but I would go to like Queensland, go to like Alice Springs, go to Perth, Sydney, Wagga Wagga, all these places to do like short stints of work.
Awesome.
And my whole year would be kind of booked out like that, right?
Nice.
But you're always alone a lot. You see your friends periodically, but because you're sometimes different time zones, like with Perth as well, it's all scattered brained a bit. So
100%.
yeah.
Yes.
So I guess for me, coming being a PT as well on the side kind of fills out my book for me to still do some stuff. I can like do early stuff before work, late stuff before work as well with potential clients, just so I have something to do.
Yeah, awesome. So were you looking to, so as you're getting into PT, are you keeping that optometrist sort of job going, or are you just transferring completely full time to PT? Are you looking at balancing the both?
I'm looking at balancing them both. So far, it's like pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because I like as of right now, like we're filming this one. What's the date? October blah blah blah. October 13th, and I've already closed my books for optometry until, because I'm also Canadian, so I'm going back at the end of the year to visit my parents. Haven't seen them in a really long time.
Oh, awesome.
So but up until the day I leave, I'm pretty much fully booked as an optom. So I just came back from a meeting with Shell, and we're having such a difficult time finding like consistent times for me to take on clients.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
might have to actually just take a bit of a break until I come back in like early 2023, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
wow. Yeah. That's the reason why I'm asking. Obviously, big commitment getting into PT. It's a big commitment. Not only that's taking on your clients, but if you're looking at becoming a high level PT, if you're looking at becoming the best PT that you can, you're going to need to place a level of investment on yourself, and a lot of that will revolve around time. So that's the reason why I'm sort of asking that question.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, that's really interesting for us, a thing for us to talk about. I mean,
for sure.
How much time do you think you've put in right now? Like, I'm assuming you're aiming to be the best PT you can possibly be.
100%.
From what I've seen, like, you're just putting in the effort. You're always like showing up with a big smile, so you're always like there.
Absolutely trying my best.
Exactly.
Yes.
So in terms of like, if you can educate me and some of our audience member here, like what happens behind the scenes in terms of time investment, working on yourself, developing your physique, things like that. Because we haven't seen each other for a while, but we have each other on Instagram, and I've seen you filled out. Okay, so you're doing
exactly.
So
working hard always, exactly. Of course.
I'm a normally really skinny guy, so it's hard for me to pack on muscle.
Yeah.
I have to eat like crazy to the point where eating is a chore.
Don't worry at all. I don't enjoy it. I wish if I could just not eat and get the results that I wanted and be healthy, that would be ideal. Perfect. I wish.
That'd be great, right?
Yes.
But until then, we have PTs, right? So
yes, exactly.
So I guess I would really want to know, we'd be really interested to know how you define top tier PT from the people you've seen, things you seen other people do, or where you want to go in terms of what direction, and how you balance that with your life. I mean, are you living by yourself? Are you dating as well? Are you like how's everything? How are you fitting everything in?
Yeah, definitely. So if we talk about this, obviously we're getting onto that topic of that time commitment. That time commitment really, in my mind, never changes. From when you start, you do need to commit the same amount of time, and that financial commitment too, to your self-investment. The truth is, the thing about it is that when you get into PT, especially in the model that operates in fitness first, it's that model where you're not employed, you have your own business, so there's no one there to sort of automatically mentor you or show you the ways. You have to source this yourself. So I obviously knew this getting in, and this is why it's so key to focus on this, because if you don't place this level of investment on yourself, you're just going to stay here. You don't want to be here in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. You don't want to be in the same place. You need to be ever evolving, because especially, I'll get into this later, but your clients are going to evolve with you as they learn, as they develop their skills. They're going to level up, and in order to continue providing them value, you need to level up above them. So it's almost like you're here. I think you can see this sort of almost diagram that I'm creating here. You're leveling up here, and your clients are leveling up with you here. So you're here and your clients are here. You need to ensure that you're leveling up at the same time, at the same rate, if not more. Otherwise, they're going to know as much as you. Eventually, you're going to give them as much value as you can provide, and then there's going to be nothing more that you can that you can give to them, that you can provide. And that's when your clients are going to leave you, because they're not getting any value. They're paying all this money to you and not getting anything in return. So that's when you're not going to have that client retention. So that's the first reason why investing in yourself is so key. Now, in terms of this level of time investment, we go into that more specifically. When you first start as a PT, you are going to need to invest, and you are going to need to dedicate this time to invest and develop the skills that you need to see the results of your clients, to get them that initial value. And in my mind, that this never changes for that exact reason, that you need to constantly be leveling up. So when you first start, you need to work as hard as you can to develop these skills, get as much learning as you can into your days to get to that first stage. And then even 6 months down the track, even 12 months down the track, and even beyond, you need to continue this level. You need to continue to work as hard as you can to constantly invest yourself to level up. Otherwise, you're not going to have clients anymore. They're not going to see the value. And it's just simply because you don't want to stay at that same level. You need to be constantly improving your skills. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing PT. I still need to place the same, and I still do place the same level of and time investment on myself now as when I first started as a PT. So in terms of your question about how I balance my life at the moment, to be honest, I would say that my life at the moment is a little bit unbalanced. In terms of dating and things like that, I probably don't have the time, to be honest. It's not
Really?
a priority for me for the time being. And I know it sounds bad. It sounds like, look, there's no balance at all. The balance will come later. There will be a time where I can schedule my learning investment to this sort of days, and then I can balance this. This will potentially come later. But at the moment, to be honest, I'm so motivated, so driven. I know that this is what I want. What I want is to become the best PT as I can, as soon as I can. And so there's not a lot of time for this. I have to invest a lot of my time sort of around what I'm doing in terms of investment in myself, because that high level investment is required if you want to level up, as well as obviously my existing clients. I have to make my time for them, and balancing that is difficult in itself, let alone those other sort of life things. So I've had to kind of prioritize them for the time being.
Nick, how old are you?
I'm 19.
You're 19?
I'm 19,
Jesus
yes.
Christ.
How old are you? I feel like I've never asked.
I'm 36 years old, bro.
36. Whoa, that seems...
So I've already had like another career, right?
That's crazy.
The reason I bring up the age thing is there's a lot of wisdom here for a 19-year-old. When I was a 19-year-old, I was a complete dumbass. So I'm not sure where you're getting all this from. Like how...
I appreciate it.
Have you always had this kind of work ethic, or over the 8 months or 7 months since you started, has that kind of developed? How did you get this kind of mindset? Like I guess, like, do you come from a big family where they're very active, like very competitive? Like, what was going on there?
It's a really good question. The truth is, no, I never had this work ethic. It was only the time when I developed this work ethic was when I realized that this is what I really wanted. So I didn't always know that I wanted to become a PT. And as soon as I sort of realized that this is what I want, and I'm going to need to work hard for it, that's when I developed this work ethic around this to get what I wanted. I knew that I wasn't going to let anything get in my way to achieving this, to becoming a PT, becoming the best PT that I can. So that's why the work ethic wasn't always the same. Absolutely not. I think probably a key factor a key time period of when this changed was during my certificate 3 and 4. So obviously, if you're not aware, those are the primary certificates that are required for to get into PT. When I was doing my Cert 3 and 4, the reason why I got into my Cert 3 and 4 was I'll give you a bit of a backtrack a little bit here. The reason why I got into my Cert 3 and 4 was because all good? Oh, I stopped recording.
Yeah, it stopped recording because phone storage was full. I didn't realize it was
Nah,
going to
no.
be so much footage, but that
Nah.
makes sense. So we're probably going to cut out on the video footage.
Yes.
So next time when you like talk about things where you're like here to here, you're probably going to have to describe it in terms of audio
Just
basis.
talk about it. Yes, yes. Absolutely. I understand.
Okay,
Yes.
please continue.
No problem. So yeah. As I was saying, when I did my certificate 3 and 4, the reason why I got into doing my certificate 3 and 4, that was right after I finished my school, and school was never really something that I necessarily enjoyed. I didn't feel like it was sort of where I wanted to be necessarily. That sort of academic space was never really where I wanted to kind of continue my life. And so when I got out of school, I made the decision because I found myself most of my spare time, or basically all my spare time, was spent either in fitness, doing something, running sports, or I was in the gym. So I decided that it only made sense to study something that involved fitness. And the most relatable qualification to this was obviously the certificate 3 and 4. So went straight into certificate 3 or 4. It was really no questions. As soon as I finished school, it was the thing that made sense the most. There was no questions about it. Went straight into this. When I was doing my certificate 3 and 4, obviously that gives you a great insight, and you would have been through the same experience of shadowing. So shadowing personal trainers at the end of your certificate 3 and 4. That's where you sort of almost follow personal trainers, and you learn as much as you can from them through their sort of work and them training their clients. And when I was doing this, I sort of dug into it a bit more, and I realized that being a PT is just the thing. That was the moment that I realized this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. I want to be in the gym. I want to be training clients. And this is when I also realized at the same time that this is something that's not easy. It's something that's quite difficult. There's quite a bit involved with this. Obviously running your own business and structuring your clients, booking your clients in, doing all these things independently yourself is something that seemed quite overwhelming to me, especially because this was probably my second job, and my first job was at Woolworths, working casually. So a big jump for me, and I'd never done anything like this before. So
yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, like when I started looking at this, I only knew or like had some sort of idea I could potentially do this because I've been running my business for optometry for a while as like a sole contractor. So I kind of got my feet wet there. So I knew that I had a lot of skills to transfer over, right?
Yes.
But for you, 19 years old, jumping into this, there's a lot of work. You have to learn how to do your PT stuff. And I don't know if you guys know out there, but once you start looking into this, you really realize there's a lot of stuff to know, you know?
Absolutely.
It's not just like you like read a pamphlet and then you say count the number of reps. You know, there's a lot more.
Exactly.
Than that.
And I think that's what I love a lot about it, is that it's not just something that you're going to learn everything. You're not going to learn the entire job in a couple of months' time. It's something that even people that have been in the industry for 10 years, they're still learning. The best PTs never stop learning. If you think about athletes, they all have coaches. Everyone has a coach. Even athletes, top level athletes, even the best of the industry have coaches, and they're still learning. They still haven't reached that stage where it's not like you just get to that stage and it's just there's nothing else to learn. It's like it's an ever learning experience, and as you kind of learn more, you realize that there's just so much more that opens up for you to discover. So that's something that I love about it. But obviously, at the time when my certificate 4 was wrapping up, to be honest, I didn't believe I could do this. I didn't think I could do this. I didn't have the same work ethic as I did now, because I didn't want this as much as I do now. So what I found was that I didn't have that work ethic, but when I got to the end of it, I realized this is what I wanted, and I developed it around it. If you want something that badly, then you're going to find a way. I didn't have the skills, but I found somewhere to develop the skills.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to touch on was ever since I started going more into the PT world, I'm hearing a lot of things about trainers have their own trainers, stuff like that. You know, when I first heard that, I was kind of like really skeptical. I'm like, it sounds so like ridiculous, right? Like,
no, me too.
You just want me to pay for like more training, blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah,
like
sales,
sales
technique.
Exactly. But I've been hearing this so often and seeing the results, especially when I met more senior trainers, and they know so well the difference between different like nutrition, all that stuff, and then how that kind of plays into your like on circadian rhythms and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of shit here. There's no way I can actually train myself with this kind of knowledge, because it'll take me forever to learn all this stuff and to kind of adjust it into my own training, right?
Yes.
So can you speak a bit about the constant continuing education as a PT, like on that, and also I know you're part of something called like Give Health and Fitness.
Yes, GIV Health and Fitness, absolutely.
Exactly, because I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I knew like all these people are working as their own business within Fitness First.
So yeah, like what's going on? Right? Yeah.
Why is there something else going on? Is that allowed? But you guys have like a
100%.
big poster in their front desk. Obviously, it's
we've
allowed.
had a couple. yes, we've had a couple. Obviously, you might have seen at especially on my Instagram, you might have seen up at Melbourne Central Fitness First. There was a time where we had a banner up. Actually, a couple of times we had it up early this year, and then we had one that was just taken down just recently. That was up there up at Melbourne Central Fitness First. We also have another one currently up at Flinders Street Fitness First. So sort of in between a few of the branches at Fitness First. So yeah, absolutely. But let's go into that a little bit. In terms of the first sort of topic of the having coaches having coaches. Obviously, when I first started in this industry, when I was doing my Cert 3 and 4, I was like, this doesn't make sense. I can teach myself. It's almost like I can, if I have the skills, why do I need to?
It's kind of like some sort of pyramid scheme. Like, what is this?
I know what doesn't make sense. Surely I can just train myself,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have this mindset. A lot of new trainers in the industry will have this mindset where they can just do it themselves. Why not? It will save a lot of money. It'll save you hundreds of dollars per week if you could just do it yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, 100%. But it's not necessarily the case. If we think about that, hundreds of dollars, that's a huge investment in yourself. And this all goes back to our first topic of investing that time and investing investing your money in yourself. You are going to need to place that level of investment, not just in time, which we've talked about in the beginning, but a financial investment. It is a financial investment to get into this industry. If you want to, well, really for everything, not even in this industry, if you want to, exactly, if you want to start your own thing, if you want to start your own business, there is investments that need to be made to do that. And this is one of those. In order to become the best PT, it's almost as I said before, the best athletes in the world have coaches. If you look at the best, the most competitive athletes in the world, Olympians, they're not going to be coaching themselves. Trust me, they will not be coaching themselves. They might have all the knowledge that surely they've been doing this for years and years, but they've been training for a long time. So you would think that they would have the knowledge as well. But no, there's a reason why they have coaches. If you want to become the best PT, in my opinion, you need a coach. You need a coach or a mentor. I developed, I sort of gave a connection with my mentor in November last year. So November 2021, that was when I first sort of spoke to my mentor. And it took me a little while to find my mentor.
Because you said you started January, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
So majority of the year you were just kind of doing it yourself. So right, you're just training yourself.
No. So last year, so I actually started 2022 January. So that was when I started as a PT. But when I formed the connection with met my mentor, that was in November of 2021. So before I got into PT, I knew that in order to be the best that I can, in order to bring the most that I can, I would need to have a mentor, someone to learn from. I couldn't just sort of wing it. That's not going to get clients results. I need to continue learning and investing in myself. I knew this from the beginning, from the skills, from the things that I learned from my certificate Cert 3 and 4. I knew that I would need to continue learning. It doesn't just stop with your Cert 3 and 4, and that doesn't just give you, it gives you, it's a great sort of gateway, but there's so many more things that you need to develop before you become, or before I was satisfied. I believe there was so much more I needed to learn before I was satisfied to get into my own business and having my own clients. So we'll go into that. So I met my mentor. It took me a little while to meet my mentor. This was sort of after we came out of lockdown. So it was sort of obviously I had done my Cert 3 and 4, and right after that, we went straight back into lockdown, or straight into lockdown for a pretty lengthy period. That was that last lockdown. So lockdown
really?
6.
The one where everyone still kept walking around?
Yes,
the
everyone
numbers kept on still going up?
Yes, people. Yes, exactly. The numbers kept going up, and it was like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, I want to get into that. It was very annoying because it was like that was the time when I wanted to make that jump into the industry. It was right after I finished my certificates, and it was when I just wanted to. There was no more waiting around. I feel like I'd waited around. I'd waited 6 months to do this course. It took me 6 months, 7 months to do this course. I just wanted to get into what I was doing, or at least learn some more.
PT is not something you just read about. You gotta like
no,
do it. You can train yourself. You can like practice your own like exercise movements before you teach it.
And we might talk about this a bit later. In that you need to. I believe that if you're a PT, if you're teaching clients, it's all about being in the ring. You need to train yourself. In my opinion, you need to be passionate enough about this. You need to be obsessed enough with this to train yourself frequently and to work hard when you are training. But
now you like, based off of everything you're saying so far, there seems to be a little bit of a cat and mouse thing, because you're training people that supposedly don't know as much as you in the certain area you like to train in, your niche training like ability or whatever, but you're always constantly learning to kind of move the bar up. So you can train more people, or more specific of a like a powerlifting or whatever it is, like your specific focus, right?
Yes.
So if that cat and mouse thing is always there a little bit, do you ever suffer from what is that thing? Imposter syndrome? Do you ever feel like, God damn, maybe I shouldn't be training this guy? Like, I don't exactly know. Like, I'm not top tier power lifter.
Yes.
Like, how do you,
100%.
does that ever happen? How do you deal with that? And what has other people told you about how to deal with that? Like your mentor and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of that, my mentor has been a huge help with getting into when I first got into PT. My mentor is shout out to him. He's Hussein. He's over at Fitness First Flinders Street, and he basically he's pretty much the head of GIV Health and Fitness. So it's me, him, and then we've got another PT, Sonny. She's great PT, and then we've got a couple of other new PTs that are getting into the industry. So a few PTs off the from the FLG brand, so Fitness First and Good Life. We've got a few PTs that Hussein is mentoring personally, but we're sort of providing value and helping them into the industry as they start their journey.
So this is like a little micro company inside
Exactly.
Fitness First?
Yes.
That's a loud kind of thing. Like, I didn't even know that would be a thing.
It is allowed, yes. So if you think about how the structure runs for most personal trainers at two of the biggest gyms in Australia, being Fitness First and Good Life, and Anytime Fitness. So all of the major gym franchises across Australia, the model is that we have a PT, and this PT runs their own separate sole trader business within these franchises. So they're a franchisee. They use the same name, they use the same uniform, and they run their own business. That's just if you're not familiar with how that's structured. But what's sort of happening here is that this is almost a bit of a greater business. So this is still this business is still a franchisee of Fitness First. It still operates within Fitness First, just like a sole trader or a personal trainer would. It's just at a little bit of a bigger scale. So there's obviously training involved. Hussein has his own clients, he trains his own clients still. But a lot of the time, a lot of his time is spent on mentoring. So mentoring me, working with Sonny, and working with those other new level trainers. So it's pretty much what happens at a sole trader level, at a personal trainer level, but just at a bit of a bigger scale. It's sort of like they have the obviously us, and then we have our own clients underneath that, if that makes sense. We still technically have our own business. I still have my own clients, and I still 100% manage my own clients. But I obviously work with Hussein and Sonny to bounce off anything, any sort of questions, any learning. And I've learned so much from Hussein. It's just that level of investment that obviously there was an investment in time and money, a financial investment that was required. And it's almost just paid itself off 100 times. That's really helped me to become the best PT that I can. And when I was starting off in January, when I started as a personal trainer at Melbourne Central Fitness First, I was confident in myself that I was the best that I could be. And this is what sort of helped me with this imposter syndrome that you mentioned. When I first started, absolutely, you can't avoid it. I was like, look, I don't know. In my first day, I was like, my first client, I was like, look, I don't know if I have the skills to do this, but it's just about reassurance with my mentor that I've invested this time, and I've invested this time through him. I've invested the time in my own learning. I'm 100%. I can guarantee that I will know more about training or more to help this person to their goals than they would by themselves. So that was something that really reassured me in the beginning. Going about it sort of nowadays, so that was sort of when I first started. I did suffer from this a little bit, and I had to reassure myself. Going about it nowadays, I rarely sort of get this because I'm quite confident in the level that I have invested in myself, and I'm quite confident in what I do to bring out the best that I can, and for me to be the best PT that I can. And so I'm quite confident in my skills and my ability to deliver this person the results that they signed up for me to achieve. And so I really get this, to be honest. I'm pretty confident that I can help this person to their goals.
That's awesome, man. That's really good.
But it all comes back to that level of investment, because if I hadn't invested in myself, if I didn't have a mentor, if I just jumped into this, became a PT, then I wouldn't be confident in myself, because it was like I haven't really learned. I mean, I've done some learning, but I'm not continually learning. So I definitely would suffer from that now if I hadn't spent the time and effort in that.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it's kind of like speaks to something that's very like a straight, like silver line through line for every single service-based business, right? Like 100%. Speaking for optometry, it's like you put in the work, you learn what you need to learn, you keep repetitions, and then you become comfortable.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Yeah. That's where that comfortability comes from. That's where if you want to be comfortable and confident in that service that you can deliver, that's exactly where that comes from.
That's really cool. So since you started being a PT, I mean, has there been any like huge curveballs, anything you're like completely left field? We're like, damn, I didn't know it was like this.
Yes.
Is there anything like, can you speak to that?
Okay. Yeah. So to be honest, probably the biggest curveball that I've experienced is sort of consistency in programming and sleep and nutrition, especially. So obviously when a client comes to me, I will give them all the tools for them to see the results that they're after. So how the usual process is when a client comes to me and signs into training, is what they'll do is they'll set out what they're looking to achieve. Sometimes their results may not be overly specific, so I help them to set a specific goal. So specifically something that they want to see after a period of time. We'll then sort of go into this and ensure that it is realistic. And once we're set on that realistic goal, that's our sort of goal that we're aiming for here. Now, I'll set them up obviously with a bit of a program, some guidelines around their nutrition, sleep, and as well as their training. So not just their training, but some other things that they need to focus on. These things are key. These things are absolutely key, because this person, the truth is, they're not going to see these results just from their training. So they can train every day. They can train 6 days a week.
Abs are made in the kitchen, right? You keep hearing that.
Exactly. Yes. Well, it's somewhat true, because you need to balance it in between all three. So our three key factors here are going to be the sleep, training, and nutrition. Now, as a PT, my job is to provide the tools for each of these. as a client, the client's job is to put these tools in place so use these tools to see the results. So at the end of the day, it's up to them. I can provide them all I like, or all I want, or all I like, everything that does allow them, everything for them to see the results, but it's up to them for them to apply it. So my biggest probably challenge to answer this question would be the consistency with this. So when I first sort of started, I sort of, my expectation was that I'll set out the program, or set out the nutritional advice, or set out the sleep advice, and this person will stick to this and they'll see the results easy. Yep. It's easy like that. But the truth is that life gets in the way. You need to adapt to each person's lifestyle, and then there's no one set way. It's something that needs to change for each client. So this needs to change for every client. There's no one way to go about. There's no sort of one direction that you go about every client. This needs to it changes and varies for each client's lifestyle and what they enjoy. Because the truth is that if you're giving them something that they won't enjoy, whether it's a meal that they don't like, or some training or program they really hate, then they're not going to stick to it. They're not going to do it. And especially this comes into play when I'm training, or I'm seeing someone once or twice a week, and they're looking at training 5-6 times a week, and they've set out the time to come in and train 5-6 times a week. I'm not going to be there. A lot. Yes, exactly. Oh, some of my clients are consistent, consistent.
That's good.
They've been smashing their goals, but the truth is with that, or the challenge with that, is that I'm not going to be there in those other times. I'm not going to be there in those other 3 or 4 sessions. So I need to make sure that they are as consistent as possible, because when I set goals out for them, it's reliant on them coming in 5 or 6 times a week, because this is our plan. So that's probably been my biggest challenge.
So for that would be like their plan is to come in 5-6 times a week, but you'll see them only once during that week. Is that what it is?
Look, if someone's coming in 5-6 times a week, I don't really recommend them seeing me just once a week. I would recommend either 2 or more, because it's just so much information that we need to pack into that session. So that's why I do recommend that I do see them more than once a week. However, I do have some clients that, for example, they might be coming in 2 times per week, and they're training 5 or 6 times per week. And obviously there's a significant amount of sessions that they're going to need to come in and get done themselves, or have their program, everything they need to train, but I just won't be there with them. So that's how it will work. And the biggest challenge with that is obviously making sure that they are coming in for this time.
So again, you're sending them like update and messages like, hey, how's it going? It's Nick, blah, blah, blah. What's happening?
For some of my clients, that is the strategy to maybe we'll have our sessions booked in on, say, if they're training 2 times per week on a Monday and a Friday, and then I'll check in with them midweek, and then to see if they are coming in for their own training. For some of my clients, it's been to check in with me. So some of my clients will train in the evening or the morning times that I will be in the gym, and sometimes I'll ask them just to come and say hi to me quickly before they start their session. So
that's really cool.
Exactly. So that's one of the strategies.
This is my plan, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna go, okay, cool.
Yes.
Go do it, Steve. Or whatever.
Go do it. Yes. And I might be with another client, so I can almost be taking care of them and ensuring their accountability at the same time. So that's sort of just one of the strategies that I've used to keep clients consistent. Another one is, and I actually took this one from my mentor, Hussein. Just one of the things that I learned from him was that what I've actually done is that, for example, I had a client that was training 1 time per week, and what I found is that she was struggling with her accountability, and it wasn't a possibility. Obviously, best case scenario is that she trains more frequently, but this wasn't a possibility for her. Obviously, that's not an option for everyone, but this wasn't a possibility.
Time objection. So essentially time objection, because I'm doing more of these MIA calls, and then a lot of things it's either too expensive PT, or it's I don't have enough time, my life is too busy. So this sounds like a very like busy schedule kind of person archetype, right?
Yes.
So, I'm definitely interested to hear about this.
Well, yeah, that's another sort of thing in itself.
Is it? Okay.
In this case, it wasn't necessarily about time. It was just about not feeling it, not
Really?
coming
Okay.
in because they didn't want to, sort of thing.
Oh wow, how are you gonna work around that?
Yes,
If they wanna
exactly. Oh, to be
show up?
honest, I appreciate the honesty. I
Yeah.
appreciate, because when someone says, "I don't have the time," and really the problem is that they don't feel like it or they don't want to, then we have to sort of debunk this and find that this isn't true before we get to the real problem. So
Really?
the
Okay.
best thing to do, the best option for your any sort of personal trainer mentor, you need to be honest with them so they can help you to fix this problem. And in this case, I was able to help this person to fix this problem. It was a problem around motivation,
Yep.
not being motivated to come in, not wanting to come in. Obviously, training's not always the most comfortable situation. You have to get out
Sure.
of. I mean, it might have been like a big day at work, and you
Yeah.
have to get out. You have to bring yourself. For some people, they have to really bring themselves to the gym. Probably it's a little bit different to us, where we're just sort of we spent so much time there and we love it. So it's we don't really have to drag ourselves out of bed to get to the gym. We just find ourselves gravitating towards it. But
Yep.
in this case, this is a person that is a general population client. This is what I mean by a general population client, is someone who has a life outside of the gym. They're not competing in powerlifting. They're not competing in bodybuilding. They're not an Olympic athlete. This is someone that has a regular life, and they want to possibly be. They're coming to me, or they're coming to a PT and coming to a gym because they want to be maybe a bit stronger. They want to be a little bit. Maybe they want to change their body composition. Maybe they want to be a bit healthier. They're not coming to spend their entire day in the gym. This is someone that wants to work in the gym with their lifestyle. So you need to account for that. They're not going to have. This is not necessarily someone who wants to get up at 4 a.m. every day and go straight to the gym. It's not.
People don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. What are you talking about?
Yes, I don't know what you're talking about, but it exists. I don't know, but in this case, what we did was I gave this person, they were training with me 1 time per week, and their goal was to come into the gym 4 times per week. So we're working towards this goal of just coming in 4 times per week. So what I did with this person was I had obviously our 1 session, but I actually gave them 3 times during the week. 4 times during the week. So 4 times during the week. One of those was going to be our session. Now I could show up for any one of those 4 times. And if I show up and they're not there, they have to pay for the session. So this is a way of almost prompting, pushing past this barrier of motivation, and almost providing another motive. In this case, it's the monetary motive of you have to come in or it's going to cost you. So this is just another one of those strategies to target a different type of problem.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's
this is
really good.
something. That's been quite successful.
Really, that's really good. So how you've been officially PT since, was it January this year? You're saying, right?
Yes, January this year.
So since that time, who's been your longest client?
So my longest clients are someone that we've had a bit of an on and off battle with. They started with me in sort of my first week of training. I started training this person. This was someone that wanted to become stronger, and they wanted to become put on a little bit of muscle mass. This is someone that had been to actually a doctor, had been to a health professional GP, and was told that they need to gain a little bit of muscle mass in order to be healthy. So we worked a little bit on some resistance-based training to put on a little bit of muscle mass. It's been a bit of an on and off journey with in terms of motivation. Obviously, this is someone who was training me and is still training with me 1 time per week. So when someone trains with you 1 time per week, it is a little bit more of a challenge. Obviously, we've outlined, or I've outlined some of the challenges that that faces, or that can come from training once a week. But it becomes a little bit difficult 1 time per week because you're not seeing, you don't know what that person's doing all of the other days. So you know what they're doing 1 day per week, and you don't really know what they're doing. Obviously, you can send them a message and you can check in with them, absolutely, but you don't really know what their training is looking like. You don't know what they're doing. And so it can be a little bit more of a challenge when someone is training with you. Obviously still possible, but and we've made it work, but it's a bit more of a challenge with you, that frequency, that lack of frequency. So we've had a bit of a challenge with motivation in terms of this person has spent some time away from training, so a bit of a significant period a couple of months ago where they were just lacking in the motivation. It was actually related to when they went on holidays. So they went on holidays, dropped off a little bit. That's why I'll always, when I do sort of send a call when a client goes on holidays, I'll always ask for a little bit of notice so I can provide them with a program to train with while they're away or something to do. I understand they might not have a full on fitness first when they go wherever they're going. I understand that. And they might want to spend the majority of their time relaxing or recovering from their busy usual schedule. So I understand it may not be the same workout routine, training routine, but I do try to provide them with something to make sure, get that satisfaction of provide them with the satisfaction of working towards their goals. So I always try to give them something. In this case, this person had a bit of trouble sticking to these. The motivation fell off a little bit, and that continued into when they got back. So they spent some time away from their training, and the motivation dips down a little bit after this time. And this happened for this client, unfortunately. So it's been a bit of an on and off challenge, but I was able to sort of get them back on track pretty quickly and pretty effectively. So
really, so how do you deal with that kind of working relationship, just because I'm assuming you're not yelling at them being like, you're an idiot, blah, 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 right? That's definitely not going to happen.
You can't blame.
Exactly.
Yes,
so I don't think you're that kind of person, but
yes.
What kind of strategies do you kind of employ to kind of get them back on the wagon?
Yes.
Right? To get them back on the horse.
To be honest, on that sort of topic of yelling at them and things like this, I try to take all of the motivation out of my training, out of my sessions with my clients.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So, not motivation, emotion. Sorry, I used the wrong word, emotion.
Okay. Yeah.
I try to take all of the emotion away from our training sessions. And the reason for that is because it's very easy to be frustrated at clients when they don't eat what you tell them to in their own time, or when they don't come in for a training session. But the truth is, it's really not. And I know this from experience. From other trainers with their clients. Lots of experiences behind me saying that when you yell at a client or when you disapprove of something, it doesn't help. This is not going to help the client's motivation. Yes, you probably know this yourself. It doesn't. It just doesn't help. This client you don't want them feeling sorry for themselves. You don't want them feeling like they let you down, because that's just going to drag them further down. You need to help them to build up to where they previously were, where that sense of motivation was that first day that you saw them on that consultation. So
how do you do something like that? It sounds just so difficult to put into actual tactics to help me or the audience, right?
Absolutely,
100%. Is it a trust thing? They don't trust Nick enough, or do they what exactly do you think it is? What have you pinpointed into, and what have you kind of employed in terms of tactics to be able to circumvent that?
Definitely. So there is absolutely a level of trust, and this is something that you sort of almost want to develop when you are in those early stages with your client. It's important if someone's going to be putting this level of financial commitment, time commitment, as well as sticking to everything that they tell you, as well as changing potentially their diet. They're going to need to trust you in order to do this. If they don't trust you, they're not going to. They might say they will, but they simply will not follow through. They will not do these things if they do not trust you. So absolutely that is an element, but that's something that you want to develop as soon as you can. So you want to start developing this trust in the consultation. So when you first see that client sitting down chatting, you want to start developing that trust, because you're going to need to put this into practice from that very first session. They're going to need to trust you from that first week. So you want to speed up this process as much as you can. In terms of a client, and we talk about in this sort of case study that I brought up, this is a client that obviously had been training with me for a long time and had that level of trust, because they chose to, they chose to previously spend their time training following my guidelines, following what I set out for them. So it is clear that this person already has this level of trust in me.
I think it's actually really, just to interrupt you really quickly, it's really
Yeah, of course.
commendable that client is still here. Because I mean, if I saw someone with that kind of ebb and flow motivation, I'm like, okay, how much time do you have to work with this client before they fire you because they don't want to do it
Yes.
anymore? So I'm like really surprised that it's still been going on.
Yes. Well, client retention is key, absolutely key. I mean, my mentor has been. Bring it back to my mentor. He's the one who sort of taught me about client retention, and it's key for you. He's got clients that have been with him for literally years. He hasn't had a lot of cases where, and I'm the same, I haven't had a lot of cases where a client has just left me because of just because of potentially a lack of trust, or they're not seeing results or things like this. I haven't really had much of this happening. I've had clients that have left me because they have to travel overseas, they have to live overseas, and these are sort of situations that you can't change. You have no power in this.
That's really good. The only clients that leave you are the ones that leave the country.
Yeah, I mean, because that's it's all about investing in yourself. If you continue to deliver this person results, they're not going to leave you if they continue to see the results. There's no reason for them to leave you unless something really dramatically goes wrong. There's no reason for them to stop training with you. So as long as you're continually investing in yourself and you're able to keep delivering results to this client, and it's about sustainability, so creating a program that is sustainable for this person. If you're able to provide this person with sustainable results that just keep on coming, there's no reason for them to find another trainer or stop training with you, even if they have achieved these initial results, if they have seen their results that they signed up for, and they see these results, say, there's no reason for them to stop training after this, because they want to maintain this, and they're going to have that trust in you that you're able to deliver a service that helps them to maintain these results that they desperately wanted. So there's really no reason for them to leave you, and it's because I have invested in myself. That's why I'm able to retain those clients.
That's real good. Goes back to your kind of believing in yourself, and then other people like believe in you as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Really
believing, it's all about confidence. Believing in yourself.
Yeah, I can hear the confidence. I can feel the confidence. It's coming off of you in waves, man.
Oh,
19
awesome.
years old, that's amazing.
That's
All right, cool.
But yeah, in terms of just to answer that last little bit there about my a client that's been training with you for a long time, in order to sort of re-spark this, if this is a person that has fallen off, so this isn't a new client, if this is a person that's sort of fallen off motivation a little bit, which is very common, absolutely. The way that you're going to, my most successful way of dragging them back into their routine, bringing that motivation up, driving that motivation up, is going to be to remind them of their goals, remind them why they're here. Bring them back to that first day that you had that consultation. Remind them, whether it's written down on a piece of paper, written down in your program, their goal. For a lot of my clients, I have their goal at the top of their program. So whenever they open their program, the first thing that they're going to see is their goal. They're looking at why they're here every
staring
time.
them back in the face. That's good.
Yes, exactly. So whenever they open up their program, whenever they are on their way to the gym and they open up their program ready to get started with their session, and they're making that sort of subconscious decision as to whether they train today, whether they train it or they go back home and they go to bed. They're looking at their goal. They're looking at why they are training. So that's what it's about, I think. Bringing that excitement back from that first day that you met them.
That's cool. That's cool. I never realized for PT you're always dealing with people's dreams and hopes and fears and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, a big part of it is motivation, and this is something that I never thought that I would be dealing with when I got into PT. I thought it was just sort of coming in, train my clients, and then go home sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's not how it is. You need to motivate. If you can do that, absolutely. I mean, the beauty with this, beauty with this sort of model at Fitness First, and the majority of gyms in Australia is that you're able to do whatever you like. I can do the bare minimum if I want to. I can show up and take this person through a few squats, and I can sort of just give them what they want and then go home and sleep and not respond to anything. But that's not what I want to do. And the beauty is that you can do that, but you can also over deliver. And when you over deliver, that's when you're gonna get clients that are willing to come in and train with you, invest in you, because they're seeing the results and they can see that you're investing in yourself, and they can see the value basically.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. So I think we should wrap it out now because this has been a super interesting conversation.
Yeah, actually, it feels like it went so quickly. I'm looking at the timer. It's 40:55.
Yeah, it's been a freaking hour already. Right?
Yes,
Crazy.
That's crazy.
But I do want to ask one more question if you would kind of entertain this.
100%. Always.
So you've had quite a bit of experience as a PT at this point, and you've developed obviously quite a strong work ethic and idea about what an ideal PT would be. When you're training on the floor with your clients and you see other PTs with their clients and stuff like that, is there anything in the industry or that other PTs do that you find just you hate? Like it's just your pet peeve? You're like, damn, I'll never do that for my clients.
Good question. Yeah. Really good question. I think it sort of just goes back to the previous one of doing the bare minimum and sacrificing sacrificing results for monetary gain is probably a big one too. So I think when you sign up to this career, when you choose to do this, obviously, you are going to need to take some money. The clients need to pay you in order to pay. Like there's expenses. In order to invest in myself, there's expenses involved in that. I need to pay maybe a rent to the gym. I need to pay for the space that I'm using. As well as the courses and mentoring and all of these sorts of things require a level of financial investment. But I never sort of came into this with the goal of getting money, of sort of being rich. I think that's some PTs do come in with that goal, and I think it's not necessarily the industry for that. There's plenty of other industries that you can go into to make money. I think when you're coming into that with the intention of doing that, clients can see through that. They can know that they're not dumb.
Yeah.
They
exactly.
can see right through that. So you're gonna show that off. You're gonna show that off so easily. You might not think that. You might think that you're being genuine by sort of being almost like a fake genuine. You might think that you're doing your best to cover that up, but it doesn't cover up. People can see through that. So I think things like and I've seen a lot of this on social media where there's a lot of misinformation, which you're probably aware of. Big thing is that TikTok and the sort of trends with TikTok and Instagram Reels is that it's very short form. So there's not a lot of sort of
context
space. Yes, context. It's all about context. So people will just put things out there and try to sell their products without sort of even people going on and delivering a cookie cutter program that they genuinely deep down know will not see results. No one's going to see results from this. I think that's something that is sort of quite damaging, and it's something that frustrates me a little bit because I've had to deal with a lot of damaged mentalities coming in, and
there's a lot of reprogramming.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people coming in, a lot of members and clients, members of the gym, and clients coming in thinking that if they do crunches all day 24/7 that they're gonna get abs and things like this. And I think that's almost as a result of people trying to sell you something. So people trying to sell you a product and sort of shaping this mentality while they're trying to sell that product. It's almost like a mentality that's shaped on advertising. So I think that's obviously it's an easy way to sort of make money, and I think that's been the motive behind a lot of companies, businesses. But it's something that has been quite damaging for and quite difficult, a bit of a challenge for me. So it's something that I think needs to stop, in my opinion.
That's awesome. Awesome, Nick. We're coming up to the hour. You're a very inspiring and articulate individual. So thanks for thanks for spending some time with me. If people wanted to find more about you or kind of like look at your services, stuff like that, how do people find you?
Yes. So biggest thing here is going to be just on Instagram. So Nick Gardner 03. So have a look on Instagram. Any new things, any new information will be on there. I'm also trying to get some information out just on people. Obviously, I understand that not everyone can afford a personal trainer, or it's not always applicable to everyone. So I'm trying to put some information out there that's it's not like the other probably stuff that you've seen on Instagram, and stuff that's genuine as I can, as real as I can. So have a look there if you're looking.
That's awesome, man. All right, well, there you have it, folks. An hour of wisdom with Nick Gardner. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing any more of these podcasts, but we're definitely going to cut this up. I'll give you the content, and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay.
Awesome.
So that's all good. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. We really appreciate your time, and you enjoy the rest of your days.
Thank you,
guys.
Awesome.